Hi Taurus, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Taurus, we're going to see what the fairies want to say to you. And we're going to use, what are we going to use? We're going to use, I'll tell you Taurus, we're going to use the Fairy Oracle deck, Brian Froud's deck. We're going to use it. We're going to look at the energies around you. And I'm going to start with the fairy deck. Okay, Taurus, I want to call your reading, Show Me Yours First. So, there's something really funny with your cards here. Okay, I want to say, it looks like in the past, you were determined not to show anything. And when I say not to show anything, I kind of want to say, probably emotions, because the Ace of Cups is the middle card here. Probably emotions. You didn't want to show any emotions. You got the King of Swords here. Determined not to show any emotions, but it's weird. Okay, why I want to say is like, show me yours first, because let's start with this card. This card right here, it talks about like having clear sight. It can talk about like poetry and using your words in a very poetic fashion as well. But it's also about like, one of the things that's touched on in this is the Brian Froud, the artist, his son said, you know, this guy's wearing a mask. So, and it's what really cracks me up is that like, then you have the King of Swords, he's wearing a mask. And then you also have the Empress here. And she's actually wearing such a large headpiece that it starts to cover up her face and sort of looks like a mask. So that's what I mean. It's okay. And then you have the Stand Your Ground card in the past. So this is definitely something about, it's also about making a decision, and it can be about bringing romance into your life because of the poetry card too. Like this can be about making a solid stance and saying, okay, I really do want to have romance in my life. But stand your ground. Either, I want to say, so see how this resonates, because I could kind of see it going both ways. I could see either you were standing your ground and not wanting to show your emotions, and somebody was like, no, show me yours first. And I feel like something happened here that created clarity. Either you wanted somebody to display some sort of emotions for you to see so that you could understand. And because they're wearing such like a strong mask that they weren't showing any emotions, or somebody wanted you to show your emotions. I honestly feel like though, because the Empress is like your energy, right? With Venus. So I kind of feel like you were kind of showing it a bit, because this mask is not as obvious as the King of Swords. And the King of Swords, there's no emotion there at all. But Venus is love. Venus is about being loved. The different ways that we can be loved and that we can love. Oh, I was doing so fine. So good. So wow. Excuse me. Right? And then like the Ace of Cups comes in. The Ace of Water is with that. So, okay, I want to say, look at this. The more I'm feeling into this reading, so here's the thing too, the way I'm doing it now, like you see me shuffle it on the camera, which I really kind of like, and it also gives me a second to kind of ground into the cards. But it's only a few seconds. Because I find I can't really start pulling in the reading until I start talking and channeling and connecting with you. So that's really the only point where the more magic starts to happen. So as I'm sitting here and I'm connecting with this with you, I'm feeling more and more like this is you, which makes so much sense, being like Venus and the Empress. And then it's almost like sending this to the King of Swords, show me. Or maybe it was like, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Again, it's talking about emotions, but I don't know where it just sounds, actually, it sounds kind of funny. It sounds like little kids. Actually, it sounds like, I think when I was like 3 or 4 years old in daycare, and this little boy, Andrew, I had the biggest crush on him. I think he had a crush on me too. And we ended up in the bathroom together. She was like, what do you have there? This is so unusual. Because I didn't have any siblings. So I was like, Andrew, I don't have one of those. It was like, well, what do you have? I think we started like showing each other, and just like out of the innocence. And then like at the daycare person came, oh, what are you doing? You can't be doing that. And I was like, what? But it's kind of funny. Like I don't know, there's something kind of sweet and innocent about it. And okay, so that's the first thing that I'm getting. I feel like it's like, show me yours, I'll show you mine. Or I'll show you mine if you show me yours. But it's about emotions. Again, I don't know where that leads for you as an adult. But then it feels, so the other thing that I'm getting here is there's something about this underlying disappointment. You have the underlying card in the puppy deck is disappointment. And then you have, it's like, okay, who's up next? That's what I hear. I was like, come on up, who's up next? So look at this. You have the world. It's like closing off a cycle here. Finalizing something. Finding yourself in a new place and space and time. Even a new reality. It's difficult trying to find your way. I know this Nine of Wands is speaking to me literally like a Nine of Wands. Like it's a long road. It's been a really long road of disappointment. Right? It's the Five of Cups. That is the disappointment. It's like, oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. Like it's just like, oh. Such a long journey in disappointment. So I kind of want to say it's almost like closing off a major cycle and then finding yourself in a new cycle that's just, I feel like I'm bringing the same energy with me because it's the Nine of Wands, right? But this is what's cracking me up here. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude to anybody's pain or disappointment or sorrow or depression. But it's like the horn blows for you. Okay, come on up. Come on up. That's exactly what this looks like. It's like hearing the call. Oh, that's crazy because you have the call here in the future. I'm just going to read the energy. I'm not sure who you are in this, but there's definitely someone else in this, and it's about showing like emotions, divulging hidden emotions. Is that what I would? Yeah, it's like that. So I want to show you the repeats here. You got the disappointment. You got the disappointment. Come on up. Okay, so this is where this is repeated again here. Because then, in the future, this is so... It took a second when I was shuffling this out. I actually smiled behind the camera. I thought, this is funny. I don't get it. So you have Glominous Doom with eagerness. Please take me to my worst case scenario. I'm so looking forward to it. This is going to be great. But Glominous Doom... Actually, it can be about like self-pity, a self-defeated attitude. But it's the important aspect about this is it's really something that we create about ourselves and all on our own. Like other people are not feeling this about us the way we... So it does have something to do with perhaps even how we think people might perceive us. And we have sort of a negative mindset about that. And I can see this too, like, because the Nine of Wands, well, isn't it funny? Because she's almost looking back at the world she came from. It's like, did I end up in the wrong spot? Did I end up in the wrong spot? Should I find my way back there? But it's like, no, you have to keep going forward. You can't. Once the door is closed, the door is closed. So going this way into your gloom. All right, come on up. Come on, bring you and your gloom with you. Right? It's like this eagerness. But I feel, okay, so here's what I feel like with the eagerness. Because one of the other things that this talks about is like is coming to a realization that the things that we've said about ourselves, only we believe them. So like, if you think, oh, I'm not good enough for that, or, oh, I'll never achieve that, or that's too good for me, or, and you know, you might not even think this in a thought, you just don't feel worthy. I want to say that, because I don't even know, do we sit there and we think that, Oh, I'm not good enough for that. Oh, I couldn't do that. I think it's more like a feeling of being unworthy, or I think it comes through more as a feeling. It's almost like I feel like, well, I'm being shown the, what the hell? The vagus nerve. And almost like the mind coming up with a quick thought. And that quick thought is, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you could never do it. And then, but the heart just immediately goes, it's like, no. But it's funny, this eagerness and like the trumpet. Boop, 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 boop. Step on up with your doom and gloom. Step on up with your doom and gloom. Show me yours, I'll show you mine. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe you haven't shown anything yet. Maybe nobody, because what is this? Maybe you haven't shown anything yet. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so this takes us to the underline here. I'm sorry if I'm jumping around, but this is how the story goes. So you have these 4 cards here. Iris of the Rainbow, the Fawn, Sylvanius, and Arvel Parrot. Yeah, Arvel Parrot. Okay. So if you look at these 4 cards, the first one is talking about, like hope. It's rainbows, right? So it's dreams coming true, rainbows. And then the fawn talks about like the natural order, magic, how magic naturally flows. So it's almost like, hope, happiness, the magic of that flowing. And then we get into cutting. This is Sylvanius. So when you can see the sword too, like, right? It's like the sword of truth. It's cutting through things to find clarity, which is interesting because this card has to do with like having a clear insight, but it's also having that clear insight to avoid misfortune or to avoid misstepping or doing something incorrectly. I've got to get all of this out because it repeats itself so many times that I feel like I almost need to tell you this, where I find these repeats in your reading, and then I'm going to flow with it, because it's otherwise through the whole reading, I'm going to be you know what I mean? Just jumping back to a story again. Although I still might end up doing that. But then, so then we get into Parvez, the parrot, and this is about clear communication. It's about really using your words wisely, but it's also about not only do you say something very clearly and articulately, but then you really pay attention to, if you're having a conversation with someone, to their body language, to the things that go unsaid. And maybe that's even what leads up to this, because it's almost like, right, I'll tell you how I feel if you tell me how you feel first. Well, I won't tell you how I feel unless you feel first. And it's funny because then, like, saying that, you could end up with two people that feel very strongly for each other, but neither one will say it until the other one says it. And then nobody says it. So then 2 people would feel, I want to say gloomy, doomy, disappointed. Somebody got to say something first. Whatever this is. So that's funny. But I don't know. So maybe you're like, okay, I'm eager to tell you. I'm so sad without you. I don't know. It's so cute. Because I feel like the dogs are so like open with their emotions. My dog Lily has never ever hidden in any way through body language, anything that, she was sad that I went away for a couple hours to go shopping or something. Like, I was so happy to see you. Like, I don't know. There's something about going from, I want to say this. There's something about going from being like a cat, being very aloof. Because when I come home from shopping, Lily is like down the stairs if she's not in the window watching and waiting for me. Oh, mommy. And then the intensity. And then as she sees me walk to the door, it's almost like she's not sure. If I leave where I'm sitting and go to the door, I won't see mommy anymore. But if I go to the door, I'll see her. She's going like, I don't know. It's like getting to that point. But Larry, the cat, I might not see him for an hour or so after I've been home. Because like, whatever. So it's almost like going from this energy where you're hiding your feelings and your emotions. But two, so here's the thing. If you're wearing a mask and you're sending over this little pearl of love or this pearl of emotion, so the King of Swords, like, well, I don't know how well received that is going to be. So I would say, yeah, I probably wouldn't send anything to, well, I'd be afraid. I would be afraid. But then, okay, so now I want to say, now looking at these two, because now I'm reading body language, but through that, it's mostly facial gesture, but there is body language here too. There's something that's been missed here and something. The Empress is not wearing as much of a mask, right? Whoever you are, I don't know anymore. I'm just going to go with this. I'm just going to read it. It's more interesting to do that. And it flows better. So the Empress is not wearing as much of a mask. But so, and you can, I want to say, you can kind of see, she actually, when you really look at her face, she doesn't, I would say that she's expressionless, but there's a bit, I want to say, you really look at it, she looks a little bit sad. I don't know. I've never really noticed that about the card. It's, you know, the whole like Mona Lisa, it's close to that. But depending on the angle that you look at Mona Lisa and how long you look at it, you can see a bit of the smirk or the smile. I don't know. I actually feel like that's a Mandela effect because I feel like she smiles more than she used to. I feel like it used to be more like this. Well, that's funny too. The Mona Lisa. You couldn't see what the expression was. But and the other thing is too, she also has something in front of her. Like her heart space is closed off with perhaps protecting the abundance that she's created. So, I mean, if that's you, that's something that perhaps you were doing. You were very expressionless in your face, your facial gestures, and you were closing off your heart space to protect some sort of abundance around you. The King of Swords has a wee smile, though. The King of Swords has a wee smile. But there's something really intimidating about him compared to the Empress. Because the King of Swords has like big, heavy clothing. It's almost like armor, but it's feathers and wings. Like it feels enormous. The presence of the King of Swords feels enormous compared to the Empress. Even though the King of Swords has like a slight smile on his face. And I think that like, even that I'm picking up on that is really important because of Parrot, or Arval parrots. Yeah. It's watching, there's definitely a watching your words and trying to read body language. But I feel like there's some nuance that's been lost here in the past. And the stand your ground is again, if you show me, I'll show you. But nobody's showing anybody. And what's stuck in between these two is, I want to say now that I'm really looking at it, it's funny how these cards transform. Look at this. Doesn't this little guy look a little bit sad or disappointed? Like, I don't know where to take this. Where I'm supposed to. It's almost like, I want to say it could be the symbol of Cupid. Oh, I don't know what to do now. Like, where do I take this back to the Empress? Do I take a chance with the King of Swords, dropping this emotion off over here? You know, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be. But it could even be too, like, feeling like maybe you meet someone and you think, oh, God, that person's spectacular. Their ideas are amazing. Oh, I love that person's great. I want to get to know them more. God, think of the things that we could create. Like, I don't know. So, but it's like both people feeling intimidated by the other somehow. And then nobody saying anything. Well, I'm not going to show you unless you show me. I'm not going to talk to you unless you talk to me. I'm not going to walk towards you unless you walk towards me. It's like, yeah, that's a very stalemate kind of energy. Okay. So that's like something from the past. And now in the present, this is interesting because you have the singer of transformation and learning. So this is like success. This is like huge success. This is like a jackpot. Obviously, like something transformed. So I don't know if somebody showed somebody. I'm just seeing it's so cute. What card is it? Oh, I think it's from the archetype deck. It's like somebody like, I'll show you if you show me, and like opening up their trench coat to show their heart. I don't remember what that archetype card is called. But this is learning about, I want to say, success. So, but then it's like this, this energy in the future is really good, even though it's so funny. I'm going to get over there in a second. Okay, so let's focus on right now. Still learning about success. Still, I feel like somebody's mask slipped. That's what I feel like here. Something happened. Somebody's mask slipped. And that's almost like that changes. I want to say that changes the game. And I don't mean, I don't like to really, that's not how I'm seeing it. Like, because I don't feel like, it could even have come off as a game, but I don't feel like it was a game. I feel like it was an intimidation, an exercise in intimidation. And I don't even know if these two people realized they were trying to intimidate the other one by protecting their emotions or not divulging them. The other thing I want to say is the King of Swords, the King of Air. I feel like he's approachable because he doesn't have his hands in front of his heart. But I don't know if it's what goes on around the King of Swords or did, because this is in the past. But there's something about him that seems bigger than life. And even like the Empress is tiny compared to that, right? So there could be a sense of, again, well, that's where this comes in. Not recognizing your value or believing your value is less than something else. So, okay, so I want to say it changes the game here. Something happened. Somebody's mask slipped. And it's like, oh, okay, you're actually up for bat. That's what this feels like. Okay. It's my turn. All right. All right, the tarot cards you have with this are the Two of Earth, the Messenger, or the Knight of Air, and the Six of Air. This is coming to a quick decision. This is coming to a quick decision and moving in a quick direction. But not before like sort of weighing out the pros and cons and the possibilities. Looking at available resources. It doesn't feel resourcey. Because I know this sounds funny. It's my Gemini rising. I can make up new words and it's okay. Because it's all going to mean something one day. So it doesn't feel resourcey. It feels like, honestly, like just weighing out the pros and the cons and then making a quick decision and saying, okay, where are we going? Where are we going here? Okay, but let me look at the artwork because that's been really important in this. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, well, it is that. But, okay, these are both the same color, and they're both sitting in the very first card in the spread. Both very earthy. The Empress, very earthy. The Two of Pentacles, very earthy. What is she doing? What is she doing with the Two of Earth? So it's like it's the Empress. I mean, she's looking after things, yeah. Oh, and that makes sense. I'm getting like a very Mercury. I think this is technically, I think the King of Air is Aquarius. But it's just there's all this air, and with the Magician, that's air energy too. So I'm just connecting it in that way. So there's, I want to say the King of Air, I don't feel like it's his mask that slipped. But he's going to show his mask. He's taking off the mask in the future. Right now, I want to say the Empress, whoever she is in the story, could be you, but doesn't have to be, is even perhaps seeing herself as smaller than she is. And she does look really tiny. I never really thought about that before. She looks really tiny compared to the King of Air. Like, all she has is this wheat shaft. All she has is this wheat, right? I know some of you are going to get into the symbolism of all that. I understand. It's not the point of the reading. It's not. Because there's the nuance of this is like body language and presence. There's the other thing too. You could go on because yes, the things that the Empress creates may not be seen as valuable in most, in a lot of particular to like Western standards, because a man in a lot of the societies that we have built are based so much on ego and what I can build and how I can build myself up with it, where it's just like being kind of like, you know, like one with earth, being really connected. But she's small. And then here, like, right, she shouldn't be the two of earth. And then she's almost like unseen. She almost becomes unseen in the shuffle, like lost in the shuffle. But now I feel like, so this is where I'm going at, because now this feels like this Two of Air is calling this Empress in. Like, she's hardly, you can hardly see her. And what is she doing? It just doesn't, because it doesn't feel like the Empress. That's not what the Empress would do. It's almost like the Empress is fallen back somehow. But to come forward, to calling the Empress forward, even perhaps to learn about hitting the jackpot and success after a struggle too. Like that's success after a struggle. So like, right? And here's the call. It's like this energy. Oh, and the call. Did I say that? In the future, there's the call is there. And then again, this Fool feels like the call, you know, like the trumpet, the call to battle, the call to whatever. There's so many cards here pulling this in. All three of these are calling this in. I feel like calling the Empress in. Because maybe it is. Somebody's mask slipped. And that's what I said. I don't feel like it was the King of Air. Because I feel like he's going to show a mask in the future. But right, so the whole story of this is, show me yours and I'll show you mine. But I feel like the Empress's mask slipped. As much as she was holding her ground. And much as both these people were. Okay, so there's something calling her in. I want to say too, I feel like the Empress led with her heart. I don't know. I'm guessing it went towards the King of Air. I don't know. It makes sense. I mean, it follows the storyline. But, I mean, he has a smile. But if you're not looking carefully, you can't really see his eyes. It's really hard to see what he's thinking. He hides it well. And then, okay, so in the future you have this glominous doom and the eagerness for that. So where I want to actually, before I even pull up these tarot cards, I want to say is where I'm going with that is because I feel like, so if you felt something for somebody, if it was like a deep emotional connection, if you felt love for someone, you had feelings for someone you couldn't explain. And this person had that too. But so this could be two people that I don't know. I'm not going to show you that. I'm not going to show you that. Or if it was just like an admiration for somebody and wanting to think, oh, I'd love to be on their team. I'd love to build something with them. But, you know, maybe, I don't think they're interested. I can't read this person. I don't think they're interested. You know, I want to say the person who I feel, and I feel like it's the Empress, her mask has slipped here somehow. And it's almost like the King of Swords, the King of Air, is eager for this doom and gloom to come in. Because the other thing that comes in with this glominous doom is that there's a couple of things that can be done here. If this is you, if this is an emotional state that you find yourself in, where self-pity, self-defeat, you have attitudes and beliefs about yourself that aren't true, that nobody else believes in. If that's you, then it talks about like, you know what to do. And I mean, it is obviously to believe the opposite of what you're telling yourself. But if this is somebody around you, and if it is, you can give support to that person. And so it kind of comes off to like, in what way can you give support to that person to kind of help them see, you know what? No, you do have value. You're not what you think you are, or, you know, so there's a sense of, yeah, eagerness to show that. So then we get the Magician, the Call, and the Queen of Fire. Whoa. Okay. There's the Rebirth. I want to say this is the, there's the Fire, the Nine of Fire. But it's bringing this emotion, because there's been some sort of ending here for someone. Maybe it's the Empress. There's been some sort of ending here for someone. And then it's almost like they're reborn into like difficult fire. Sadness, depression, disappointment. You know, all the things that come in with that Five of Cups. Oh, woe is me. She's like a Scarlett O'Hara. Oh, Brett. I don't know. But then the Call, it's like, all right, it's your turn. And there's the Call again. But then it's like, I feel like when this King of Air removes his mask, it's almost like it ignites what used to be the Empress into this fire. Like it's almost like a glow up. That's what that feels. It's like going into a glow up. Being on fire. I haven't even clarified. This is, okay. I'm really curious about this. This is so much. If you show me yours, I'll show you mine. How do you say that again? Taum the poet. Taum the poet? I think it is. Anyways, he's the poet. The poet. The poet and stand your ground. I feel like they really go together well. Like it's a clear insight to having a clear, oh Jesus, the devil. Okay, so something wasn't good here. There's obviously a need to keep a mask on or not show your feelings. Oh, but look at, I don't want you to, oh, it's weird. Oh, it's crazy because look at how he's reacting to the mask. To the mask. But that's what I feel like. Like he's seeing her for the first time. I want to say there's a fear wrapped up here. There was about somebody seeing you for the first time and being like, oh my God, that's too much. So there's something too about like first impressions. You know, too, if you think, okay, well, somebody likes me, or if you think, yeah, so if you think someone likes you, I'm not saying that, but that's where it's going. I'm just going to go with it. I'm channeling it. So it's like if you think somebody likes you, but maybe they like you under a first impression. And then you could get into your head and think, well, that could change once they really get to know me. So I don't know. It just feels like that. Like, oh, they're like shocked when they see who I really am. So almost like there's something here about the past not wanting to be seen, because not wanting your emotions to be seen because you're afraid that somebody might be frightened by them even, or frightened by who you really are. So let's see who these, can we unmask these two? Could do that. The Empress. The Four of Swords. Actually, that's not the first card that came out. Let me go in the right order here. It went, okay, the Seven of Cups, Temperance, and the Four of Swords. Oh, there's so much going on emotionally here. Confusion, trying to balance this and heal it. I want to say even perhaps emotional chaos and trying to bring that into balance and heal it. Okay, the King of Air. Show me the King of Air. I tried to hide it. Flipped the card and it went right back in. But I see it. Oh, shit. What a son of a bitch. Literally. The King of Air is, I'm telling, the King of Air is not until in the future. Because you want to know the cards he pulled? The Moon, the Three of Wands, and the King of Air. King of Swords. I want to say the King of Air has fears. See, you're not hiding everything, buddy. He's got fears here. He's got some hidden fears. That's as much as I'm going to get out of here. He might have some hidden fears about trusting his intuition. His logical mind might get in the way. Yeah, because then the King of Swords just comes back. The Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups, this poor little seahorse that's like, I don't know what to do with this pearl. Ace of Water. Seriously. The Two of Swords and the Five of Cups. Yeah, see? This little seahorse, I don't know what to do. Look at him. I don't know who to give this to. I don't know what to do with it. I can't return it back to the Empress. I don't think I can take it to the King of Air. So, well, and if this is an energy, obviously, that came from the Empress, it would be, be like indecision and sadness. God, that's so deep. Oh, speaking of trouble. Yeah, what do you want? What do you want? Huh? Do you want to say hello? Yeah, it's so handsome. Come and say hello. Come, where are you? Where'd you go? Come on. Come on. No? Oh. I'll tend to your needs in a few minutes. You're not even going to talk? No? Okay. Mr. Larry. Come here. Oh, there's Mr. Larry. Okay. Go down. Okay. There you go. You'll have your pate in a minute. There's his pate at lunch. He never comes around at lunchtime. He comes later. Okay. So now, the Singer of Transfiguration with learning. Which was learning about success, jackpots, success after struggles. The Queen of Wands, the Star, and the Page of Swords. Yeah, I feel like this is the energy that watches the Empress, whatever that, I guess the King of Swords. Because there's the King of Wands, like the Queen of Wands, healed and watching this, observing this, success, observing success. So here's the thing. It's like the Empress no longer sees herself as an Empress. Right? And then, okay, so here we get into the Two of Air. There's something that she needs to build up again. And I think it's her confidence and her self-expression. He or she. With the Queen of Fire. The Two of Earth. She's almost lost in the dust of practicality. And the Nine of Wands, the Emperor, and the Eight of Swords. See, the Nine of Wands, again, I feel like, well, I'm going to say now, I feel like it's the Empress, because it feels like this King of Air. Well, that's really funny though, is it's almost like there's an Emperor waiting for this Two of Air. But it's like he can't, because she's lost in the dust. Because with the Eight of Swords, you can't see her. But it's almost like she's making her way there. It's funny. Right? Because it's coming. But she's coming like, Five of Cups. Okay, so the Messenger of Air and the Six of Air. It's like, almost like if the King of Air is trying to look through the dust to see this, it's like just see nothing but dust for the longest time. And then starting to see, oh, there. And it's like almost as if once this energy, the dust clears, then it happens quickly. The Messenger of Air, which is the Knight of Air. The Four of Cups, the Lovers, and the King of Cups. Well, see, there's something hidden here. So this messenger, the Knight. I kind of feel like I'm getting a view of the King of Air like as a little boy. Like the little boy inside the King of Air. Because there's some fears here. But he puts on... It just honestly feels so much like all the things that I want to say too, like a lot of masculines have put on them, like, you know, to make yourself seem big, to make yourself seem important, to make yourself seem, valued. But in these very, you know, practical, maybe even intellectual ways with the King of Air. But it's like deep inside is a little boy who feels like he's missing out on something. Like an inner child. And then look at though, but then it's the Lovers. Yeah, it's almost like, oh, I'm figuring out this King of Air. So it's almost like this little boy. I want to say this little boy was rejected. Something happened to this as a little boy. So I want to say the King of Air is like a man. It feels like that. A masculine presence. And it's something, he was somehow felt rejected, little. And perhaps by like Empress, it could have been a mother. Or it could have been just, you know, someone around him that he thought was absolutely beautiful. And so like amazing, but there's a sense of rejection that feels like a childhood wound. But I feel like it's, so there's something here. So maybe too, okay, because it's like, show me yours and I'll show you mine. So is there something here about at some point or some time having shown these emotions when much younger, and being rejected, and then almost like making a vow, oh, I'll never do that again. I'll never show my feelings to someone without knowing for sure how they feel. So I want to say, I feel like because the Empress is, I don't know what the Empress showed, to be honest. I think some degree of emotion here, because it feels like her mask slipped. And that's almost like all this King of Swords needed. With the Lovers and the King of Cups. It's almost like finding the person, or finding this place of expression for all these emotions. And then the Six of Air. Karma, the Three of Pentacles. Karma is judgment. So again, it's like another call up card. The Three of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Queen of Cups. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. It's not the Emperor and the Empress are sitting in the present. And then the King and Queen of Cups are sitting in the present. All right, I am Magician. I don't think you can hide. You can't hide from the High Priestess. I think I pulled something out over here to give you an idea about the King of Air. Okay. Glooming doom. The eagerness for glooming doom. That's the future. So, the Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. That's like a closed off energy that's emotionally disconnected. And I can't help but feel, well, it's one of these characters. I feel like it's the Empress energy. Because, well, let me see. Let me see how this Magician plays out. The Magician. Oh, the Eight of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Ten of Swords. I'm hearing like to revive something from the dead. To revive, oh. It's a quick plan to end something. But it's a quick, well, that's the funny, it's such an oxymoron, which actually is the gloominess, doom, and eagerness feels like an oxymoron too. Because you have the Eight of Wands with the Knight of Pentacles. The Eight of Wands is like swift movement, communication. The Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady, wins the race. And then the Ten of Swords. So there's been some kind of ending here. I feel like parts of this ending, somebody's manifested. I'm guessing it's the King of Swords. Manifested, perhaps communication. I wonder if this is like a slipping of the mask. What slipped with the mask? What was seen behind the mask? Justice. So it kind of feels like exactly what someone wanted to say. Justice and the Queen of Pentacles. Like a partner, the potential for a partner, perhaps. I'm going to put these back in. All right, the call. It's like judgment. You could literally receive a phone call, a text message. Oh, shit. The Ten of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. I can't help but feel like this Magician is trying to stop a plan. The Magician is trying to stop a plan here. A new beginning. A second chance. You know, it could be like family, the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Fire. The Four of Wands. Why is there eagerness here? Say that too. It's because it's the Magician. That's exactly what it is. The Magician. The Magician. No, I've said what I've had to say. And then the High Priestess. The Six of Pentacles and the High Priestess. I just heard, don't be afraid to leave a tip. You don't have to. It's nice if you do. You don't have to. So anyways, I'm going to go do the extended. That was quite a reading. In the extended, I'm going to use the Energy Oracle deck. And I'm just leaving it open. Whatever the universe wants to talk to you about. This is like the fairy energy that you've been dealing with. It's quite an interesting story. Thank you so much, Taurus. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.